Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is your host Zunira Malik and welcome to my show Gupshup with Zuni. My guest today is an internationally acclaimed motivational speaker and a best-selling author of 10 inspirational books. She is the only female author who has won about 31 international awards for her books. Not only this, she is the only woman speaker in India who has achieved this much so far, and her journey still continues. Her work has been extensively featured by the media in India and abroad. She has been invited to Qatar as a celebrity guest speaker by Inspire Training Academy for her debut talk with few of the leading corporate industrialists here in Qatar. She has been worked with over 2,000 multinational corporates across 46 countries and has touched over 3 million people through her workshops and books. So viewers, let's welcome the lady who has impacted millions of lives through her magical words, Priya Kumar. Hi Priya, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
How are you doing today?
Very well, very well.
I would like to start with your journey. You were a tuition teacher, right, if I'm not wrong. So from there onwards, a huge transformation to a motivational speaker. Let us know your journey throughout.
Well, I used to teach. I started working when I was 13 years old. I taught for 9 years. And so I was teaching students my age, and as I grew, I was teaching more. So motivational speaking was a natural progression. It wasn't, I didn't have to go too far, because when you are a hit with children, it's also because you're a good storyteller. I used to teach French. That's how I started my career. Okay. And French is a very easy language to learn. It's very close to
because
Sanskrit.
You know that's why.
Yeah, but also at a school level. Like for instance, in the first term, you're just learning like basic words and numbers, and how difficult is that? And as children, we pick up language very fast. So I would have more time than the study time, and that's when I used to tell stories, or we used to do these activities. So after 9 years, I was doing very well. I was very successful. I was making a lot of money. I had taught about 1,900 students, but I reached a point where I was no longer growing. You're teaching the same thing over and over again. And I realized that while my students were growing and moving forward, I was still sitting there with the same books. So what next? I thought, okay, instead of teaching from books, I'd tell stories, and motivational speaking was the next natural step. Yeah, so that's how I got into it.
Wow. And have you been to a certain training for becoming a motivational speaker?
No. I think most of training is technical. Yes, if I wanted to specialize in one field, then I would have to do that. But I specialize in giving a message through a story and through an experience. And I had a great collection in my whole career. If you have 1,900 students, kids, and 2 times, so 1,900 into 2 times the adults, that's a lot of experience, and when you're a teacher, the parents want to talk to you.
That is true.
So problems from both ends, you're trying to solve the problems from both ends. So it gave me a lot of experience, a lot of anecdotes, again, a lot of stories, and that helped me. But I was always curious. I was a reader. I am a voracious reader. So I had enough content with me to talk about. And when you say that people don't read books, that's why I have a job. So
another example.
Yes.
So Priya, do you think being a really good reader really matters if you want to become a motivational speaker?
Yes, it allows you perspective, because motivational speaking is about understanding people. How can you help somebody if you do not understand them? So you have to be a great listener. Listen to people. That's how you understand them. And you become a good reader, and because then you understand from the author's perspective. Exactly. You understand from other people's experiences who've cared enough to jot it down. And that, for anybody, even to be a good parent, you have to be a good listener, a good reader. To be a good leader, you have to be a good listener, a good reader. These are basic qualifications for anybody who wants to stand up in the position of leadership. Motivational speaker is one of them.
So Priya, I've heard you are very reluctant in choices. What made you think that Inspire Academy is the choice for you?
Well, I'm not very reluctant in making choices, but I'm very cautious. You know, one has to do their due diligence in making collaborations and partnerships and anything that one envisions for long term. You know, that's how you need to be in choosing a partner for life, whether that is professionally or personally. So I have actually been waiting to collaborate with people who have a similar vision to mine, who have a similar dedication and a similar drive and purpose. And I was looking, and then finally I met with Mr. Ashish Mishra and Meenal, who are the founders of Inspire Training Academy. And in them I found visionaries. It was so the first meeting that I had with Ashish, he told me, okay, we want to invite you to Doha and this is the event. And I said, okay, let's talk about it. I met him another time, the vision grew bigger. I met him another time and the vision grew bigger. And those are my kind of people. Those are the kind of people I like to work with. So it's fun, So I like people who think long term, who think big. And that's what I found in the founders of Inspire Training Academy. And I'm very, very inspired by who they are as people, on how they treat others and the kind of purpose that they have. And if I can admire another, I think that's a great partnership to have.
Let us know more about your collaboration with Inspire Training Academy, and what can we expect, the viewers watching you right now, what are the upcoming events you're going to host with them?
So we're doing one event in April, 19th and 20th, which is a 2-day workshop. I specialize in experiential learning, especially in the areas of leadership, team building and peak performance. So I have a partnership with them where I will be spearheading the leadership segment. So that's the kind of workshops that you can see upcoming in this collaboration.
Wow. Okay, now talking about your author journey as well. You are a great author who has written 10 inspirational books. I would love to know first, which one is most close to you?
My last book is always my favorite book.
Wow. So why is it your favorite? Because it's the last that you wrote?
Because it's fresh.
It's fresh in your memory.
It's fresh and the excitement is there. It's going to be released, and then I'm all excited. What will other people say? Because I loved it. So yes, that's always my last one.
And I would love to talk for one which got into web series.
Yes.
So let us know about that book.
So I Will Go With You is about a plane crash, and although everyone dies in it, it has a very happy ending. So I remember there was one time I was on a flight and the CEO of Z5, who actually took up the book to be made, was sitting next to me, and he asked me, what do you do? I said, I'm an author. He said, oh really? What book do you like best and what's the story? So I told him half the story on the flight.
That's how it happened actually.
And
wow.
Then he said, hey, but what happens in the end? I said, for that you read the book, sir.
Oh wow.
So then 4 months later, I got a call from him saying, I don't know if you remember me, but I was on the flight with you. I said, of course I remember you. I told you half the story. So he asked me, have you given your book out? Is it available? And we would like the rights. And just like that, in that 14-second call,
wow,
the permission was granted, and that's how the journey started.
And now the series is going on. It's still going on.
Yes, it's already released on Z5.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've released the first 4 episodes, and the next 4 episodes will be
and
released.
And how is the review?
It's overwhelming. I've not watched it yet.
Okay.
I'm scared to watch it.
Why? I mean, you should be the first one to watch it.
No. I'm very scared because you see, I wrote the book. And every reader, I don't know if you've ever read a book and then you watch the movie and then you're like, not like
Sometimes,
that. So I wrote the characters. I've lived the characters. I know the little nuance. So I'm waiting to finish reading all the reviews, then I will watch it. Because right now, I'm reading such amazing reviews and I don't want to be in that critical state of watching it and say, but the pilot should have looked that side. So
that's why you're avoiding it.
Yeah, so I want to finish all the reviews first till I forget the story and watch it anew as a web series.
Well, that's really good to know about you.
Thank you.
Priya, you are a biography writer.
Yes.
I mean, what is that one thing that makes you unique from other authors?
Yes, so I also specialize in writing biographies, but with a difference. So my biographies are not Wikipedia style. They are not chronological. If it's not important to highlight what the person did in his childhood and so on. So I take important factors which a person can relate with, which contribute to a great storytelling. So therefore, I may omit large chunks of a person's life and choose to highlight a few which go in the making of who the person is today, leaving out unnecessary details and other stuff. So it's storytelling. It's not necessarily Wikipedia information which also makes it boring. So a lot of biographies, I'm just flipping pages. Okay, where is the interesting stuff? So because I am critical as a reader, I know what I'm looking for, and therefore that's how I write, and it's been very successful.
And that's what makes you different than others.
Thank you.
Wow, very well said. Okay, Priya, you are very unique in teaching people when you are motivationally boosting them. So tell me about your fire walk, which is quite popular. I mean, when we talk about Priya Kumar, we talk about this fire walk.
Yes.
So can we expect that in future in Qatar as well?
Yes, of course. In fact, when people write my name or, feed my name in their mobile phones, because Priya is also a very common name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they write Priya Firewalker.
Oh, wow.
So that's become my last name now. Firewalking is an amazing experience.
Yeah.
Although it's done across religions, across countries, and it also has a spiritual connotation, I'm only looking at it from the angle of personal development, of self-improvement.
Okay.
The firewalk for me is an analogy that the past does not equal to the future. So you've been burnt before, and therefore now we live in avoidance. Oh no, I've had this bad experience, I'll never do it again. That's not participating in life. Failures and losses are a part of life, like night and day. So people hold themselves back.
Yeah.
Now with the firewalk, I say, okay, I understand you've been burned before, but that was an accident. This is not an accident. It's a project that I have made. Therefore, I am responsible for it. So in that light, take action, but people don't. So they keep using their past as an excuse not to make it. And also, it's how you build the fire.
Yeah.
The fire is built such that even if you've decided to burn and you sit in it also, you will not burn.
Wow.
So it's built such. There's no, hoopla or magic to it. It's very practical and logical that you need to have a certain amount of contact time, a certain amount of heat to burn you. If both are absent, you'll make it. But when people are standing on the side and they see the flames and they feel the heat, they don't trust the process. But you see, life is like that. The economy tells a different story. The market tells a different story. People tell a different story. And therefore, they hold themselves back. They don't take the step to find out. I'll give you a small example. I was one time at a school and I had a talk and they were doing some treasure hunt. Okay, and my talk was right after that treasure hunt. And I knew where the treasure is, and these boys and girls kept going everywhere. And my session was getting delayed because they couldn't find the treasure. So there was this little girl walking around and I told her, it's there.
Okay.
I said, just finish it.
Finish it off.
Finish it.
Okay.
And I'm telling her it's there. She looks at me, smiles and says, and walks away.
You think so? Okay.
I'm telling her the truth. I'm telling her where the treasure is.
listening.
And she's not trusting me. I mean, such is the state of a lot of people that even if you tell them, do this, they won't. They won't believe people who are showing them the correct direction and leading them there. So the firewalk breaks through that, people.
So do people really walk that
Of course,
fire?
they walk. See, first they'll say, I don't think so, And then at the end of the program, maybe. Then they stand at the fire, they walk. Then they will walk one more time to take a selfie. Then one more time for you to make their video. And finally, I have to fold my hands and say, stop it.
It's not a fun
Yeah.
game. Okay.
Yeah.
And they don't get burned.
No.
Wow. So it's just the mental state that you're teaching them, that overcome
Yeah,
your
I'm
past and...
Yeah, I'm just telling them to be logical, to be practical, to be rational. That's it.
Priya, what makes you boost your morale? Like, you must be going from ups and downs in your life as well. You're a normal human being just like us. So what makes you, overcome your past situations, overcome your fears?
Interesting. Well, I must tell you, when you come to the position of leadership or you are in a position such as mine, you're no longer a normal human being. You're not expected also to be normal.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think I have complained ever. I did complain in the initial years, and then people tell me, but you must not be having any problems. No, you solve the world's problems. So it kind of works against me. If I even have a frown on my face, that's it. So as a motivation speaker, you're not off duty, but also that makes me the greatest beneficiary of my work. We say that ek jhoot ko 100 baar bolo to sach ho jata hai. So what you talk, you become. Words shape your destiny.
True.
And imagine, I've been doing this for 24 years, and that's what I say, everything on one side. I mean, the success, the money, the adulation, the admiration on one side, but who I become on a daily basis is the truth. So you can take away everything from me, but you cannot take away the kind of person that I've become. Because one time I met an astrologer, so he's looking at my kundli, and I'm humored. Tell me. So you know how they start? First they'll give you some landmarks about your past, that in 1990 so and so happened, and you're like, oh yeah, and oh yeah.
He's so right,
so now whatever he says about the future will be correct. So he tells me, for instance, in this year there was a rough patch. I said, no. He said, there was. I said, but no, there was no rough patch. And 15 minutes into the conversation, he says, but you're the kind of person, madam, there was a rough patch,
but you didn't feel it.
So I said, that means there was no rough patch. So, and also, my upbringing has been such. I came from a very lower middle class background, and I feel that facilities and privileges are great, but values and principles are greater. And my parents and grandparents brought us up with the right values and honesty. My parents were upfront to tell us that, look, we can't afford anything more than your education. So you better make best of it. If you have a problem, don't come to us, because go fight your own battles. So as children, we had a very good, real upbringing to be a hustler. That we are giving you this much, now you run the race ahead. We're not going to run it for you. No complaints, go solve your problems. You have a problem in school, you solve it in school, don't bring it at home.
And that's a great message for parents out there.
And parents, and all of this starts young. I mean, I have written so many biographies. They didn't become these big people overnight. It all started from childhood, and sometimes the struggle is very important for a child. They are not going to stand up on their feet when they're 24. They will stand up on their feet when they're 7. And one has to encourage that.
As you mentioned, it means that upbringing matters a lot.
Absolutely.
So do you believe even the teachers matters as well in your life?
Of course. They become examples. Sometimes we give them more attention. I mean, they're in our face. You can't avoid them. But it's more than what is being said on what that person stands for. And as teachers, one must set a great example, because they become people of influence for us.
Definitely. Okay, Priya, you had your power hour yesterday with a few of the people here in Qatar. How did you find it? How was it? Tell us the experience.
It was amazing. First of all, the people who came and attended, they were this elite lot of dignitaries. And when you look at a profile like that, when I got the day before, the profiles of the people attending, I said, oh my God, first of all, they are humble enough, hungry enough, grounded enough to want to listen to somebody. And for one moment I felt it was an unfair distribution. They all should have been on stage and I should have heard them out. But it was an amazing experience. They were so welcoming. From the time that I have landed, I tell you, it's just been a happy space. At one point there was this gentleman, a very, very senior guy, and he had taken 30 points.
Wow.
And I said, I will live 2 days longer with that kind of attention and humility that people have.
The importance they give. Definitely. That's amazing. No, even I've been receiving a few of the messages regarding your talk yesterday, and everybody just loved it.
Oh, thank you.
And which made me even more anxious to meet you, in person. I feel lucky enough as well.
Oh, thank you.
So, Priya, you mostly work with the corporates level, or you do one-to-one clientage as well?
One-to-one, not so much, but yes, with corporates, because I travel so much. One-to-one is also a long-term commitment, and because of my travel schedule, and I'm not a great fan of Skype, and I'm more of a see the person. So that puts a limitation. Maybe some time when I have a lot of time and I'm at one place, I would be able to do that more.
Okay, that's the retirement plan.
Well, I don't think I'll ever retire.
Motivational speaker can never retire. Actually,
the older you get, the better you get.
Yes, the better experience you have. I mean, wow, that's true.
And I was telling people that now I have launched my new career as a filmmaker, and next 30 years are dedicated to that. So I've decided I'm going to be around for the next 30 years for sure.
Wow. So what can we expect the future projects that you're dealing in?
Well, inspirational films, whether we're web series or movies. See, all of my communication is surrounded around inspiration. That even if you watch a web series or a film, there is a message, a profound message through that story that I feel whether somebody comes and listens to me or reads my book or watches my film, they should feel good. They should feel I also want to do something, and I can and I must. So that's the summary of everything that I do.
I got it completely. You want to leave an impact of yourself in
why
people,
not?
on people.
What else could be a valuable, use of my presence?
True. Okay, few of the followers asked me this question that in one of your speech you said that once you had this interview thing, you were looking for a job, and then this HR manager messaged you personally that are you married, and you did not even answer it. Then you just left it as it is, but you got the opportunity. But this lady, she's asking me, sometimes you lose on huge opportunities because of all this action, basically.
Yeah, so I had gone to this organization and they wanted to hire me as a speaker. So and the HR manager met me and everything went well, and while I was walking away to my car, I get a message, are you married?
Yeah.
Now how is that related with my work? So I also feel this is one thing I have learned very, very early on. My grandfather was working in the Indian Railway, then he retired and he became a priest. Okay, and I tell you, we grew up in such a humble background. We did not have money, so it is that stage between poor and lower middle class, but we were happy. If you ask me, did you feel that something was missing in life, something was lacking? No. And one thing I learned very early, and sometimes you learn something and you don't want to challenge it, and that was, don't ever compromise on what you believe to be right. Don't compromise on your values and principles, because that job gotten on that compromise will never serve you. Anybody who has made a compromise, you interview them. So you compromised on this, you knew this was wrong, but you still did it. How happy are you? How happy were you? How did you feel about yourself? So I don't want to get into that direction. This will go, more will come. And by the way, opportunities are not in that guy's hand, it's in my ability. So as long as I am able and confident, the doors will open for me.
It's just about how you overcome your fears and how you are dealing with your own
people
self,
think if I complain, this will happen, that will happen.
Yeah, I will lose on it, and the job and
but that's such as life. I mean, if you're that scared, then you won't make it anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Priya, how do you judge yourself? Like, how do you become judge of your own self that, yes, this is the right opportunity, this is the right time for me to grab it? How do you know?
I'm always open for opportunities, but I'm never desperate. So therefore, I don't make impulsive decisions. I'm always watching, and if an opportunity is for real, it's mine. So I am not a fighter, I don't fight for it, but I know that my only judge is, am I the best for it? Getting me on board, will it be the best decision for that person? Will I be able to do justice? Will I exceed that person's expectations? Those are the questions I ask myself and then put it forward. But I have never thought, I want this and that's it and that's all I'm thinking about. No, I can let go very easily. I can put my eyes on something and then look in the other direction.
Wow.
And it comes. And I feel that the universe...
I think with the journey of life, it comes into you, right?
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that the universe supports good. That while somebody may say, I want this opportunity, there is a higher force watching, do you deserve it?
Yeah.
So instead of chasing an opportunity, I chase my own growth to be bigger than that opportunity.
Wow.
And I will find it. The doors will open, they will find me. Continue the hustle, continue the work. Don't sit and wait for an opportunity, you continue to grow. So that is my mantra.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Okay, so Priya, let me know more about if a person is in a situation where he doesn't know where to go. Sometimes, you're in a state of depression, basically. It's nowadays even present in teenagers. Depression, anxiety, it's everywhere. And thanks to social media that is taking over the world now. On Instagram, on Facebook, you see people are so happy and content, and you are depressed by just looking. So this is my one question that I really wanted to ask you, my personal question, that how do you deal with such situations when you're feeling complex just by sitting at home?
See, I feel that activity is missing from people's lives. When we were kids, we used to go out and play. There was no social media or anything. You play, you rough it out, you get tired, you come home and sleep. People are not tired anymore. They're mentally tired.
They're mentally
You know,
tired.
I mean, their attention, they're not using their bodies. They are not doing something. You know, sports is such a big healer. You want to fight depression, go play a sport. Even if it is one game of badminton or anything. So I have also seen that people who complain of depression are also inactive people. They just shut themselves down. Just do some activity and you will get out of it. Your body will produce the hormones and the adrenaline, and that is the greatest antidote of depression. The more you think and the more you look and the more you introvert, you're drugging yourself with more negativity. So I feel that there's also responsibility of parents and guardians to limit this crazy distracting social media time and not provide that, or keep the kids busy. You know, put them in another direction. They themselves won't have time for this. You know,
That's
so people, parents use privileges as compensations for their absence. You know, it's more out of guilt, but they're ruining their children's lives. Might as well just spend another hour than, you know, ruining many hours and many weeks and many years of their life.
Very well said. I'm sure many people watching you can take notes with this one.
Thank you.
So Priya, enough of a serious talk. Let's take a deep breath.
Okay.
And it's time for a rapid fire, which I call it a googly segment of my show.
Nice.
Okay, so my first question is that who has been your inspiration in your life?
My mom.
Okay,
and
why?
she's my hero.
Wow.
I mean, she is 75 and, you know, I mean, I look at her and I say, what does she eat? Where does she get all that energy from? And she tells me, go fight. Do what you want. Don't listen to anybody, not even me. Which parent does that? You know, who says, follow your heart. Don't come to me because I might tell you otherwise. You make a decision and come to me for a discussion, but don't come to me to decide. You know, so
she's been your mentor, it means.
Oh, I tell you, she's my hero.
Wow. Okay, if you have given a choice to eradicate one thing from this world, what that one thing would be?
To eradicate one thing from this world
completely, I
think would be I would eradicate this sense of I can't do this, or I'm a victim. You know, that victim mentality, just get out of it. You know, that is one thing. If I could just pluck out of people's minds, I think we would enjoy life more in all its aspects.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Priya, if given a choice to choose one thing from these three in your life, so what it would be, love, fame or money?
Well, I would choose, I don't know if love is a choice, but love is a state. You know, love is, and not more of receiving, but of giving, you know, and money and fame has never been important for me. I mean, the kind of work that I do, I've never gone and collected an award, you know, so you will not see my pictures with that trophy. My mom goes, you know, so I tell her, you go collect it. And she tells me, what's wrong with you? And I said, no, but it's a partnership, you know, so in fact, a lot of people tell me, why don't you boost your social media and invest this money? And I'm like, no, I want to reply to every message. Let it reach where it goes, but I don't want that place where I have 1 million likes and no conversations. You know, so for me, love, just doing what I love to do, interacting with people is primary.
Wow, very well said.
Thank
you. Your favorite movie?
My favorite movie ever? Well, many. You know, like I can just watch it on repeat, of course, is Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge. There's something really cute about it, you know. I don't know what it is, I haven't located it. It's Holiday, with Cameron Diaz and Jude Law. You know.
Okay, who's been your favorite author?
My favorite author is J.K. Rowling, for what she stands for, you know, so she's my favorite, she's my hero.
Okay, wow. Okay, what do you notice in a person when you first meet them?
What I notice is the eyes. You know, it just shows everything. It's like the window to the person's soul, and you've such pretty eyes.
Thank you so much.
So
thank you.
that's the connection for me.
Okay. What's your dream project to work for? Like your goal in life?
A dream project, wow, is to you know, make movies. So as much as I'm a speaker, I like to work behind the scenes. I mean, it's quite contradictory to the work that I do, you know, but I would like
because you want your work to speak for you.
Yeah, I want to make inspirational content in the form of visual medium, you know, especially now with the digital platforms, you know, with all the OTT platforms where now content is in your palms. It's also opening doors to a lot of uncensored projects falling in the hands of people who are not meant to view them, and also it has made viewing very private. Earlier when we had films, we would watch with the family. A show goes on, you watch with the family. Entertainment was also bringing families together. Now entertainment is putting families away. So I want to bring back those values where it's great content, it's exciting, it's thrilling, but there's also a message where a teenager tells his father, you should watch this show. When the father tells his son, you should watch this movie, because it will do something for you. So that's my project, to bring great content on a visual medium, because see, as a person alone, I can't reach to 6 billion people, but I sure can reach on their mobile phones and their laptops and their television screens. So yes.
Okay, so Priya, success according to you is what?
Well, for me, success is, did I do the best of my ability today? Did I give everything? That if you asked me to do that program again, I don't know how I could have done it better, because in that moment I had emptied my pockets. That even if it was at the cost of personal inconvenience, I overcame that and did it. If there was no tomorrow, have I given my all today, professionally and personally? Does my mom know that I love her? Does she know what she means to me today, every moment? Yes, it's all done. That if I have to go now, I'm done. I'm all packed. I have nothing to look back and say, 1 minute, I want to make one phone call, or I want to do this and so on. So I am ready for another journey anytime, which means every moment is done, accounted and fulfilled and packed and sealed and gone.
Wow, wonderful. Okay, Priya, had not been a motivational speaker, what do you think you would have become?
Well, I would still be talking.
Okay.
When I was in school, in the diary, the red mark, the only red mark I got was talks too much, talks too much, talks too much. So while my teachers said shut up, I earned money, through talking. So
wow.
Yeah.
Priya, wonderfully done.
Well, you're doing such a fantastic job.
Thank you so much.
I love what you do. I love what you're wearing. I love your job.
Thank you.
So I know then why people like your show. So you bring great content and you bring this great energy.
Thank you so much, Priya. So Priya, lastly, a message or an advice for our Qatar audience?
Well, I believe that dreams come true, and so dream big. Make decisions. Don't get into discussions. Don't seek approval. Your life is the greatest driving force, and that puts a responsibility that you fulfill your purpose. Follow your dreams, follow your heart, and you can never, ever go wrong.